Good morning, everyone. This report looks at three cases in Malaysia where workers were hurt because of unsafe conditions. Case number 1, a heat wave that almost killed a group of workers. Case number 2, hearing loss because of heavy noise at work. Third case shows a workers who died because of poor safety with machinery. These cases show that hazards like heat, heavy noise, and faulty equipment can cause injury and reduce work performance. Many industries in Malaysia still face this kind of problems, especially outdoor work, heavy machinery use, and heavy noise at workplace. The cases also show that preventing accidents is not only about fixing equipment, it also needs a proper management, workers' awareness, and following safety rules under Malaysian law.
Good day, everyone. Today, I will be presenting a case study in heat-related illnesses in Malaysia in early 2024. During this period, the country experienced a significant increase in temperature, which led to serious consequences. According to the Ministry of Health, a total of 45 cases were reported, including heat exhaustion, heat stroke, and heat cramps, with 2 recorded fatalities involving a young adult and a child. This condition occurs when the body is unable to regulate its temperature effectively, especially in hot and humid environments, resulting in dehydration and other health complications. This case study highlights the importance of public awareness, preventive measures, and proper health management in reducing the risks associated with extreme heat, particularly among vulnerable population. Next, I will explain the anticipation element in industrial hygiene. Anticipation involves identifying and predicting potential health risks before they occur. In this case study, the increasing temperatures in Malaysia indicated a higher risk of health-related illnesses such as heat exhaustion and heat stroke, especially during dry season. Individuals who work outdoor, perform strenuous activities, or have limited access to cooling and hydration facilities are more vulnerable to these conditions. By anticipating these risks, authorities and employers can recognize early warning signs, issue timeline alerts, and implement preventive measures. This proactive approach allows for better planning and improved public awareness, also effective emergency responses, ultimately helping to reduce illness and death caused by heat stress.
Hi, my name is Nur Adila. I will present to you a slide of recognition and evaluation. In Malaysia, the increase in heat-related illness shows that high temperature is a serious workplace hazard when the temperature reaches around 37 to 40 degrees Celsius. The body absorbs heat from the environment. If the body cannot control its temperature, workers may face dehydration, heat exhaustion, or heat stroke. The main risk is long exposure, especially for outdoor jobs or heavy work. Symptoms can begin with dizziness and sweating, but in serious cases may lead to organ failure or death. In one real case in Malaysia, 45 people were affected and 2 died. After recognizing the hazard, we evaluate how likely it is to happen and how severe it could be. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration suggests checking temperature, air movement, also workers' fitness and hydration. If limits are exceeded, action is required based on the evaluation control such as fan, wrist brake, training and proper clothing must be provided. Continuous monitoring can help to ensure this control work. Next, I will pass it to control slide.
Next, I will explain the control measure to reduce heat stress in the workplace. There are three main types, which are engineering control, administrative control, and PPE control. First, engineering control focus on reducing heat directly at the source by improving the environment. For example, providing shaded area, ventilation, air conditioning, and cool drinking water. This method gives long-term protection because it does not depend on worker behavior. And then we have administrative control, which include work schedule, job rotation, avoiding heavy tasks during the auto hour, and heat stress awareness training. However, this control relies worker compliance and proper supervision. And lastly, PPE control such as lightweight clothing or cooling vests can reduce discomfort, but they cannot fully prevent heat stress, especially during continuous exposure. Therefore, engineering control is considered the strongest and most effective method to protect workers from heat-related illnesses.
Good morning everyone. This case study discusses noise-induced hearing loss, also known as NIHL, which is currently one of the most common occupational diseases in Malaysia. Noise hazards are very common in industrial workplaces such as manufacturing, construction sites, and heavy machinery operations. According to reports by Jabatan Keselamatan dan Kesihatan Pekerjaan Malaysia and news from Sina Aryan in 2025, hearing loss caused by workplace noise remains the most reported occupational health issue. The danger is that hearing damage happens slowly over time due to long exposure to loud sounds. Many workers do not realize their hearing is getting worse until the damage becomes permanent and irreversible. Therefore, noise hazard must be taken seriously and controlled early to protect workers' health and quality of life. In this slide, I will explain why noise-induced hearing loss is considered a serious problem. First, the damage happens gradually, not suddenly like accidents, so workers may not notice it early. Second, many workers only realize the problem when the hearing becomes severely affected. Third, hearing loss does not only affect work performance but also impacts daily life even after retirement. Additionally, the high number of NIHL cases shows that some workplaces still have weak noise control systems. This situation highlights the need for stronger enforcement, better workplace management, and increased awareness among employers and employees in Malaysia. The first industrial hygiene element is anticipate. Anticipation means predicting potential hazards before health problems occur. In this case, loud noise can be expected in workplaces that uses heavy machinery, grinders, drilling tools, compressors, and generators. Continuous machine operations increase exposure risk. Excessive noise does not only cause hearing damage but also increases accident risk because workers may not hear alarm or instruction. It can also cause stress, fatigue, headaches, and reduce productivity. Therefore, early anticipation helps employers identify noise hazard early and prevent irreversible hearing damage. The next step is recognize, which means identifying whether a hazard is present in workplace. One common sign is when workers need to shout to communicate. Workplaces with many machines operating together or enclosed spaces can also increase noise levels. Employees should also listen to workers' complaints such as ringing ears, headaches, or temporary hearing problems after work. These are early warning signs of hearing damage. Another indicator is the lack of PPE or warning signs in noisy areas. Early recognition is very important because it also allows action to be taken before permanent occupational disease occurs. The third element is evaluate, which involves measuring the level of risk accurately. Employees should use tools such as a sound level meter or noise dosimeter to measure noise level in decibels. Evaluation should consider noise intensity, duration of exposure, and the number of workers affected. Regular audiometry or hearing tests are also important to detect early hearing loss. Additionally, machine conditions and workplace layout should be inspected because poorly maintained machines and enclosed areas can increase noise levels. Proper evaluation helps management understand the real level of risk and take appropriate action. Proper evaluation helps management understand the real level of risk and take appropriate action. The final element is control, which focuses on reducing or preventing noise exposure using the hierarchy of control. First is elimination, which means removing unnecessary noise equipment. Second is substitution, such as replacing old machines with quieter modern. Third is engineering controls like installing acoustic panels, soundproof enclosures, silencers, and maintaining machines regularly. Next are administrative controls, including job rotation, scheduling noisy tasks strategically, and providing worker training. Finally, PPE such as earplugs and earmuffs act as the last line of defense and must be worn correctly and replaced regularly. Using a combination of these control methods can significantly reduce noise hazard and prevent more cases of hearing loss in Malaysia.
I will be explaining case study 3, which is focused on a serious workplace accident involving a foreign worker in a manufacturing factory in Pelabuhan Kelang, Selangor in April 2025. The worker lost his life after being crushed by an industrial machine while cleaning a blow molding machine and trying to remove a stuck plastic container. The investigation by the Department of Occupational Safety and Health found that the employer failed to provide proper safety procedures, especially for the maintenance and cleaning activities. This case highlights the importance of proper machine isolation, effective safety management system, and adequate worker training to reduce mechanical hazard and ensure workplace safety. Next, I will explain the industrial hygiene elements of anticipation in this case study. Anticipation refers to the ability to identify potential hazard before an accident happens. In this case, the worker was exposed to serious mechanical risks while cleaning a blow molding machine with moving parts. As a newly employed worker, he may not have fully understood the dangers involved, especially when proper lockout and isolation procedures were not followed. The investigation also found that the employer did not provide clear and documented safety procedures for machine cleaning and maintenance. This showed that the workplace failed to anticipate possible risks and prepare workers properly. Effective anticipation through proper training, safety procedures, and equipment isolation could help reduce this hazard and help prevent this tragic accident.
Next, I will talk about case study 3, recognize and evaluation. This incident happened in Pelabuhan Kelang. A worker was trying to clean jam bottle inside a blow molding machine. After the door was opened, the machine suddenly moved because the guarding was not enough and the worker was crushed. The hazard here is contact with moving machine part, especially during cleaning or maintenance work. According to the Department of Occupational Safety and Health, employers must provide safe equipment and a safe system of work. Once we recognize the hazard, we evaluate the risk by asking how likely can this happen and how serious is the injury. We also look at workers' factor like training and experience. In this case, the victim was new, which is increase the risk. From this evaluation, better control are needed, such as a strong guarding, lockout procedure, and proper training and supervision.
And for this part, we will look at the control measure used to prevent machinery accident at the workplace. Incidents like this can be fatal, especially for new or foreign workers who may not fully understand safety instruction because of language barrier. First, injury control are the most effective because they reduce hazard directly at the source. For example, using interlock, safety guards, and lockout takeout or bottle system can stop machine from operating during cleaning or maintenance, and this help create a safer environment without depending on worker behavior or experience. Next, administrative control focus more on safe work procedures such as safety training, clear SOP, supervision, and giving instruction in workers' own language. However, their effectiveness still depends on human understanding and compliance. And lastly, PPE control like helmet and protective clothing act as the last line of defense. They can reduce injury severity but cannot fully remove the danger from heavy machinery. So overall, we can see that engineering control is considered the strongest and most reliable measure to reduce serious accident and protect all workers. For this section, I will explain the applicable act and regulation related to all three cases. The main legislation involved is the Occupational Safety and Health Act 1994 or OSHA 1994. Under Section 15, employers have a duty to ensure the safety, health, and welfare of workers by identifying hazards, assessing risks, and implementing proper control measures. If these responsibilities are not fulfilled, those may take enforcement action. In case 1, heat-related illness is considered a physical hazard under OSHA 1994. So employers must provide rest break, hydration, shaded areas, proper schedule and training so workers can recognize early symptoms. And for case 2, noise exposure is covered under the Factories and Machinery Regulation 2019. Employer must conduct a noise risk assessment and ensure exposure does not exceed 85 decibel over an 8-hour workday, supported by engineering control and hearing protection. And lastly, case 3 involved a machinery accident where both OSHA 1994 and the Factories and Machinery Act 1967 apply. Employer must provide machine safeguard, safe work procedure like lotto system, and proper worker training. Overall, this law provides a strong legal framework to control workplace hazard and protect employees.
In conclusion, these three cases show that physical hazard can cause injury or any problems in Malaysia. Case number 1 shows that extreme heat can cause heat stroke if workers do not drink enough water or take breaks. Case number 2 shows that long exposure to heavy noise can damage hearing. Case number 3 shows that lack of machine control can lead to fatal accident. Overall, it is important to check and manage hazard at work. Employees must follow rules and give training to workers safe. Thank you.